Hello guys, welcome to Math is Fun once again, and today we'll be looking at numeric and geometric patterns. And I'll briefly explain the two quickly so that we can move on. I believe you've been taught in class, but this is a form of revision so that we catch up with everything that is supposed to be done in class. When you speak of numeric sequence or numeric patterns, numeric sequence is a number of sequence that follows a particular order. It's a number of sequence that follows a particular order or a particular pattern. So for example, under numeric patterns, we can go for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and you see that you'll be asked to find the next 2 terms or the next 3 terms. Okay, you will be asked to continue with a pattern. Why do we call it a numeric pattern? Simply because it is following a particular order. What order is it following? Looking at the sequence that we have here at the moment, we get to see that the first on the list, that is the consecutive numbers that we have here, we get to see that the difference is 2, or we can say plus 2. Then the next one is also plus 2, the next one is plus 2, next one is plus 2. So in mathematics, when we get a particular number being added or subtracted for us to get the next term, then that is known as constant difference. Okay, constant difference. So that is to tell us that in numeric pattern, a particular number is being added or subtracted for us to get the next number. So that is numeric sequence or a constant difference. That is one thing that we must note, a constant difference. And constant difference is only being added or subtracted for us to get the next sequence or the next term. Okay, that is that. Then the next one on the list is geometric pattern. Speaking of geometric pattern, we get to see that it follows a particular order, the same way as numeric pattern will follow a particular order. But in geometric pattern, we get to see that we only use multiplication or division, depending on how the sequence will flow. So getting something like 2, 4, 8, 16. 2, 4, 8, 16. Here, if we get to find the difference, we get to see that the difference of the consecutive terms that we have here, 2 and 4 will give us plus 2. Okay, then 4 and 8 gives us plus 4. 8 and 16 gives us plus 8. This tells us that it is not following that particular order. We are not getting a constant difference at this particular moment. Therefore, we cannot say that we are adding a particular number or subtracting a particular number to get the next term. But there is a way out. Okay, that is why under geometric sequence, we say that we use a constant ratio. A constant ratio. Constant ratio in this case means that we are going to multiply by a particular number or divide by a particular number to get the next term. Okay, so looking at this carefully, if I have 2, 4, 8, 6 here, then this tells me that no, something should happen. Since I'm not getting a constant difference, what do I do? Okay, looking at it carefully, if I multiply 2 by itself, I will get 4. So 2 times 2 gives me 4. 4 times the same 2 gives me 8. 8 times 2 gives me what? 16. So that means that if this is not giving me a constant difference, by the use of addition or subtraction, then I can use a constant ratio difference. Constant ratio difference, which gives me times 2, times 2, times 2. So we say this is a constant ratio difference. Okay, so a recap quickly. If we talk about constant difference, it means we are adding or subtracting a particular number. So we add or subtract the difference that we get here to get the next term. Then if we talk about constant ratio difference or constant ratio sequence, then what we are talking about is that we multiply or divide by a particular number to get the next term. We ought multiply or divide by a particular number to get the next term. There will be some few patterns that will not follow these two orders that we've spoken about here. For example, you will be given 1, the next one will be 1 again, then we get 2, we get 3, we get 5. Okay, this particular sequence is not having a constant difference or a constant ratio sequence. But what is it? Okay, if you look at the first term, it's being added to 0. Then we get 1 again. Then second term plus the third term, first term gives us the third term. The third term plus the second term or plus the previous term will give us the next term. Then this term plus that term gives us this one. So in this particular sequence, it is not following a constant difference or constant ratio difference. We cannot use any of them in here. Okay. Okay, let's consider this particular sequence that is given unto us. Whenever a sequence is being given or a pattern is given, all that you have to know is that is it going to follow a constant difference or constant ratio sequence? Then you get to see how to solve it. So when I'm giving this question, I'll first look at the difference between the consecutive terms. Okay, consecutive terms from 38 to 34, meaning that we are subtracting 34 to 30, meaning that here we are subtracting 4 again, and from 30 to 26 we are subtracting 4. Okay, so this tells me that since I'm getting the same number as the difference, it means that I'm getting a constant difference. And since I'm getting a constant difference, it means that I am going to subtract by a particular number to get the next terms. Okay, I believe that this is quite easy for us to do. Then talking about numeric and geometric patterns again, fast forward. There are times that we'll be given this particular pattern in the form of a table. Remember that in grade 4, grade 5, we did the same thing, but that one we used to state our rule like +4, -2, and those things. Okay. In our case, as in grade 7s and grade 8s, moving upwards, we cannot state the rule like +4, +5, -5, and all those things. But we have to look at the relationship between the x and the y values. When you talk about the x and the y values, the x values are the input values and the y values are the output values. So when I'm giving a sequence in this form, this simply means that I have term 1, number of terms, term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, and if I'm asked to find term 5 and term 6, then I still have to determine a rule that I could use to be able to get term 5 and term 6. Okay, so in this particular case, these are my x values, that those are the input values, and I have my output values as y. Okay, so that is to tell us that in grade 8, grade 7, and grade 9, this could be given to us in the form of a table, in the form of a flow diagram, for us to determine the rule. Okay, so we'll look at some few questions that we can determine a rule here, but in the form of a table. Okay guys, let's look at this quickly. We have the input values. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one is finding the 50th term. Yes, this is done on purpose because we still have learners who will be counting their fingers and all other things. But if you are asked to find the 50th term, there is no need. If, let's say, shapes are drawn and diagrams are given to you, you cannot draw up to the 50th term, but you'll be forced to use the rule. So we will look at how to determine the rule in such a case. Okay, before I get to the rule, what do I have to know? First, look at the sequence given to you. Is it a numeric or geometric sequence? Okay, then we use that. So that means that we have to look out for the difference. The difference between 7 and 9 is plus 2. Difference between 9 and 11 is plus 2. That means that this gives us a constant difference. Okay, once I've gotten a constant difference, remember that I said earlier on that to determine the rule, you have to multiply the constant difference by the term number. In actual sense, what you're doing is that you are finding the relationship between the input values and the output values. So we ask ourselves, what is the relationship between the input values and the output values? When we ask that, this is what it means. I have the input value to be 1, my output value is 7. What then happens to my input value for me to get the output 7? Okay, what happens to my input value for me to get the output? That is what? 7. So the first thing is to go in for my constant difference. I have a constant difference of 2. So to determine this, some books will ask you that, okay, to get T1, that is term 1, all that you have to do is to multiply your constant difference by the term number. Then if I multiply my constant difference by the term number and it is not giving me the output, I will have to add or subtract a particular number to it. So in this particular case, if I multiply constant difference of 2 by the term number 1, I get 2, but here is 7. Then that means that I'll be forced to add 5 to the 7 so that I get the output of 7. Okay, then after getting it this way, this means that I will be having 2x plus 5. 2x plus 5. But the fact that I have 2x plus 5 doesn't mean that that is the rule. I have to try it out and see. If it works for everything that I have here, then it means that I can choose that one as my rule. Okay, so moving forward, I'll go by saying 2 multiplied by 2 gives me 4, but the output here is 9. Then I add 5 to it, it gives me 9. Okay, 2 multiplied by 3 gives me 6, plus 5 gives me 11. That means that my rule is right and I can move on with it. Okay, so using the rule to determine my output values for term 4, term 5, and the 50th term. Okay, in this particular case, I'll go by saying that, okay, y4, I can use y4, or some books will also use t4. Okay, so term 4 is equal to 2x plus 5. Please always state the rule, show your calculation, because mostly the question will be copy and complete the table. You don't just copy the table, put in the answers. Show how you got your answers. Okay, so term 4 is equal to 2x plus 5. I've stated the rule again, which gives me 2. We are solving for term 4, then plus 5. 2 times 4 gives me 8. 8 plus 5 then gives me 13. So it means that term 4 is going to be 13. Then I move on to term 5. Okay, so term 5, the same thing, I state my rule. T5 is equal to 2x plus 5. Okay, x here is 5. Okay, so I have 2 into bracket 5 plus 5. 2 times 5 gives me 10 plus 5, which will give me 15. So that means that for term 5 also my output is going to be 15. Then the bigger question, what will be your output for term 50? Okay, the reason why we bring such questions in is that learners will be tempted, because they know that in grade 6, grade 5, they were used to adding the constant difference to get the next term. They will go by saying that 7 plus 2 give me 9, 9 plus 2 give me 11, 11 plus 2 give me 13, 13 plus 2 give me 15, and it works. But here we give you the 50th term, the 100th term, or 75th term for you to find. You cannot count your fingers till you get to the 75th term. It will take more time. That is why you have to look for your rule. And remember, grade 8, grade 9 upwards, if you state a rule that is plus 4, you will not be given the marks. Okay, so in this case we go for the 50th term. That means that term 50 is equal to 2 into bracket x is the term number, so 50 plus 5. Okay, so 2 times 50 then gives us 100, plus 5 gives us 105. Okay, so this means that the 50th term, our output is going to be 105. Guys, if you need any question, feel free to ask. Let me follow up again, a quick recap to whatever we've done. Constant difference is using addition or subtraction, that is more subtracting or adding a particular number for us to get the next term. And when you come to constant ratio sequence, you are multiplying or dividing by a particular number to get the next term. And remember, we were also told that a question can be given to us in the form of a table or a flow diagram for us to work with it. And we did one by using the table. And we said that by using the table, the first thing is to look out for the difference between the output numbers. And here we got a constant, we had a constant difference of what? 2. Constant difference of 2. So you look at the consecutive term numbers, then you find the difference. And after getting the difference, and you get to know that this is a constant difference, remember that by stating the rule The rule is the relationship between the input values and the output values. So you don't just say that the rule is +2, but what is the relationship between the output value and the input value? The relationship is that you multiply the constant difference by the term number. Then you add 5 to it before you get what? The output number. Remember, getting the rule is very easy here. Get your constant difference, multiply it by the term number, add or subtract a particular number to it to get the output number. If you have any question, guys, don't hesitate. Contact me and I'll respond as quick as possible. Bye-bye.